Hello everybody, I am back with another video, and today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I know my channel, of course, is geared toward gaming and everything, collecting and all of that good stuff, but, I want to, basically in all my videos, if you go back, you'll see that the majority of the time I'm actually wearing a band t-shirt, and I've never really talked about, music and my love and passion for music, and I'm a big fan of classic rock, stuff from the 80s, 90s, the grunge era. And, some of the modern stuff is okay, too, as far as rock goes. But, I just want to kind of go into some of my favorite bands, more specifically my top 5 favorite bands. And, there are going to be many honorable mentions. It was very difficult coming up with this list. And, quite honestly, it's changed over the past probably, 5 to 6 years. I've really just my taste in music has grown. And some of my bands have kind of moved up and moved down as far as the top 5 list goes. So, feel free to do a video response or leave your comments. I'd like to hear some of your guys' favorite bands as far as my viewers. Just kind of hearing, if we have similar tastes or completely different. I don't know. Maybe you guys are big fans of Lady Gaga or something. I'm not myself, but, I hope you guys enjoy this video. It's definitely something different, so if music isn't your thing, definitely just close your browser. But if it is, I hope you guys enjoy this video. Alright, so it's kind of weird that this band is coming in at number 5 because actually I have the most of their CDs, and that is AC/DC. I was fortunate enough to see them in concert, what was it? That must have been like 3 or 4 years ago when Black Ice came out. Just fantastic album. Really, Brian Johnson's vocals still really strong, even though they're like in wheelchairs at this point. Not really, but they're just great. And a lot of people are partial to the Bon Scott days, which, Bon Scott, rest in peace, my goodness. He just had the most unique voice of all time. But I think Brian Johnson does a great job replicating, someone's voice that's really kind of almost near impossible to replicate because it's just very distinct. I mean, it's just really hard to imitate something like that. But, I have some of the albums from Bon Scott days. Highway to Hell is a really great one. Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. Really strange looking album. You have, everyone's eyes are like censored there, but that's really strange. One of my favorite albums from the Bon Scott days, it probably is my favorite, Let There Be Rock. I actually believe this is a live album. But yeah, Whole Lot of Rosie is really great, but Let There Be Rock, just a fantastic AC/DC anthem. And when they played that at the concert that I went to a few years back, it was just fantastic, because I don't know if you guys are familiar with AC/DC, but all of their concerts are essentially the same as far as how they perform each time, and Angus Young gets on this platform, and they raise it up, and he just breaks out into this, 2 to 3 minute solo. It's just absolutely amazing, and it's just so awesome to see him in, his little crazy schoolboy uniform and his Gibson SG. Oh, it was just so sweet. So I actually have some pictures from that concert. I'll probably be posting those either within this segment or at the end of the video so you guys can see those. But really great stuff there. We have Power Rage and If You Want Blood. And then, of course, we get into the albums of the Brian Johnson days of AC/DC. Now, many people, their favorite album is Back in Black. I can honestly say that's not my favorite album, while it is fantastic, and I can listen to every track on that record without skipping a beat, because every song produced from that album is just fantastic. It's not my favorite, but right here we have AC/DC Live, which is really great. I actually have this on DVD as well. The DVD concert's really fantastic. When Angus Young kind of gets up on the stage and he kind of salutes everyone, and then he breaks out his Gibson SG, and it's really windy, and he just starts playing Thunderstruck, and the wind's blowing, it blows his hat off, his hair's all over the place. It's fantastic stuff. But we have Back in Black, really great looking album there. I'll save this one for last, because that is my favorite album by from Brian Johnson's days. We have Blow Up Your Radio. Flick of the Switch, I really like the album artwork for this one. Angus Young's just kind of like hanging onto a switch there. I really like that. Fly on the Wall is a good one. Who Made Who? That's a really good track. And then, definitely not one of my favorites, Stiff Upper Lip. This is kind of a more recent album of theirs. But my favorite of all time by AC/DC, from Bon Scott to Brian Johnson, is by far The Razor's Edge. One of the most just, it's just a really dark song. Like, just the way Brian Johnson comes in with his vocals in this song, it's just very dark and almost eerie, but it's just, the opening guitar riff is just so sweet. It's like down, 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 and then it goes into like I don't know. It's just, if you haven't heard it, just look it up. It's so awesome. But then of course you have Thunderstruck, Fire Your Guns. Let's see, what are some other really good ones? Money Talks is fantastic. I mean, just every song. There's 12 tracks on here. They're all fantastic. So AC/DC comes in at number 5. And I hope you guys enjoy the next 4 bands. Alright, so number 4, we have Metallica. Just a hair metal band of the 80s. And, you know, they're still rocking it out today, just recently. Or not, I shouldn't say recently, but, you know, fairly recently. Death Magnetic came out, which I personally thought was phenomenal. I thought it was just an absolutely amazing CD. And then, of course, they had their 4 or 5 unreleased tracks that recently came out, too, in addition to Death Magnetic. But, oh my goodness, I'm, you know, more into the old Metallica. Of course, Enter Sandman's great, Creeping Death, Master of Puppets, Seek and Destroy, Nothing Else Matters, Battery, One, the guitar solo, and that's just been fantastic. But, yeah, I mean, just some of the craziest concerts ever. If you guys ever watch Metallica live, they go absolutely nuts. Sweat is just dripping down, you know, each of them. Lars Ulrich, however you pronounce his name, just one of the craziest drummers ever. He's just, oh my gosh, I don't even know how he does it, because he is just banging on those things the entire time. And of course, Kirk Hammett, I don't even know how his fingers move that quickly. I mean, he is just an unbelievable guitarist. Probably, in my personal opinion, one of the greatest guitarists of all time. Just awesome. But Metallica definitely comes in at number 4. I have not seen them in concert. I really hope I get the chance to before they, you know, stop touring, because they are getting pretty old. But I love Metallica. They're a great, great metal band. Now, coming in at number 3, this band used to be my number 1 band, hands down. No one could argue. I was convinced that they were the number 1 band of all time, and no one could take their position. But since, you know, I've kind of, you know, widen my horizons as far as the number of bands I listen to and the different genres that I dabble in, they've kind of dropped to number 3 here, and that's Bon Jovi. You know, a lot of people just hate Bon Jovi because, you know, in the 80s they were just so cheesy, these, you know, long ballads, You Give Love a Bad Name, Bad Medicine, you know, Living on a Prayer. They were just, you know, these, like, pretty boys, basically, going around singing these crazy songs, but I love that. I grew up listening to that because my dad loved Bon Jovi, and I just remember coming home from school every day, and my dad was very into working out, and he'd always be downstairs blasting Crossroads. If you don't know, that's like basically one of their greatest hits albums, and it's just, you know, Bed of Roses, Bad Medicine, You Give Love a Bad Name, Wanted Dead or Alive. All those tracks are on there, and I just remember walking in the door just listening to that, and it's just like, yeah, man. So I just grew up listening to those songs and just really loving them. And then as I grew older, you know, I went back and kind of got some of their older CDs. We have Keep the Faith here. Definitely not one of my favorite ones, but Keep the Faith specifically is actually one of my favorite songs by Bon Jovi. Just really sweet opening bass beat, and really cool when they play this song live. I've actually seen them live when Have a Nice Day came out in 2005, I believe. I saw them when they toured then, which was really a pretty awesome experience. You know, Richie Sambora is really enthusiastic, and he has a double neck guitar when he plays Bad Medicine, and you know, he like flips it up and everything, and it's just, I'm sorry. He gets the double neck guitar out when he plays Wanted Dead or Alive, because he plays like the beginning part on there and he breaks out the solo. But he has a specific guitar when he plays the song Bad Medicine. He flips it up and it says Bad Medicine on it. It's sweet. We have a more recent album here. It's probably almost my favorite just because I can go through and listen to every song on here without skipping a song, and I love it to death, and that is Crush. I believe this was like 2000, 2001. This was kind of like their comeback album. You know, they were kind of dying in the 90s as far as popularity, but this really brought them back with It's My Life. Everyone just was like, oh yeah, Bon Jovi's back. And, you know, so that was a really great album. One Wild Night, I actually have this tour on DVD. This is a really great album. This is a live album by them. Really great stuff there. And then this one's really unique. This is This Left Feels Right. They basically took a lot of their songs and reproduced them, and they're all like acoustic, and they're all slowed down. So, you know, It's My Life is like played with an acoustic, and it's very slow, and you know, it's a nice twist and definitely a unique take on some of their, you know, really kind of rocking out songs, just kind of slowed down in a more acoustic feel. Really great stuff. I actually have this live DVD as well, which is really cool to see. Now coming in at number 2, may surprise you that number 1 is not Nirvana. It's actually number 2 here. You know, Nirvana is fantastic. They're, in my opinion, the greatest band from the grunge era. Unfortunately, you know, of course, Kurt Cobain, shortly after the Unplugged that they did with MTV, he committed suicide. He was a very depressed person, and it's kind of strange because the 3 band members, the 3 main band members, because of course they had a different drummer at one point and everything, but you know, Kurt Cobain was just like this little tiny short dude, you know, just kind of really depressed to himself, and just a really angry person. He had a lot of struggles growing up. Obviously, if you look into his life, he just grew up with a lot of you know, personal struggles. He had scoliosis, I believe is what it was, and that just tore him apart, I think. And then, of course, you have Dave Grohl, who's now the frontman of the Foo Fighters, was just like this skinny drummer at the time, was their drummer. And then you have the bassist, Chris Novoselic, who's like 40 feet tall, hair down to his ankles. I mean, just 3 completely different guys, but they composed some of the most awesome, hard grunge music of the 90s, and I love it so much. And if you haven't listened to any of, you know, Nirvana, pick up Smells Like Teen Spirit, play through the entire album, and your mind will be blown. Just some of the greatest music from the 90s, without a doubt. And then finally, coming in at number 1 is a band that's definitely just, I think, over the past year, really, has become my favorite, and that is the Foo Fighters. I have their greatest hits album here. But recently, Wasting Light was their newest album, came out, and it's amazing. I think it is their greatest album to date. I think every track on there is amazing. What I think is incredibly special and unique is that they recorded the album in Dave Grohl's basement with just, you know, a typical recording system. They weren't in a studio, you know, messing with their voices or anything. They were just in his basement recording this this album, and I think it's their greatest to date. I mean, you have Walk, Dear Rosemary. Oh my gosh, I'm completely drawing a blank now that I'm on camera, but it's just fantastic. And, you know, Dave Grohl is just so awesome. If you watch him live, he has the greatest screaming voice, like, of all time. Like, seriously. And they're just a really fun band to watch, and I love all of their music. And if you have a chance, The Color and the Shape's a great album. If you can get the greatest hits album, you know, that's fantastic as well. But Wasting Light, I think, is where it's at. If you're going to start anywhere, I would actually even maybe start there because, you know, it's fantastic. Every track on there is great. So those are my top 5 favorite bands. You have AC/DC at number 5, Metallica at 4, Bon Jovi at 3, Nirvana at 2, and the Foo Fighters at number 1. So please, guys, if you want to leave a video response, do so. Comments below. I'd really appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's definitely not for everyone because not everyone that likes gaming is really into music, but I myself am very into music, and I'm also, you know, I have a wide range of bands that I like. You know, honorable mentions here: the Beatles, Arcade Fire, Alice in Chains. You know, I'm actually really passionate about my faith, so I'm really into like the Christian rock music, like Casting Crowns, Jeremy Camp, Chris Tomlin, Third Avenue North, you know, a bunch of those types of bands. But this is kind of the stuff that I grew up with. A lot of my friends like, so that's what I'm kind of partial to. So let me know, guys, what some of your favorite bands are, and I want to thank you guys for watching.